what's up, guys? This is Rich, and I'm here with Colin Moriarty.
Beyond.
And we are here to take a look at the first full trailer for the Assassin's Creed 3 DLC, The Tyranny of King Washington. So, Colin, what we got right here?
Yeah, so this is pretty exciting. Obviously, this is the alternate history kind of spin on George Washington's ascent to power after the Revolution. So here at 10 seconds, Rich, we have the bald eagle. Now, he's kind of caressing it very lovingly or whatever. And for history nerds, American history nerds, they know that the eagle, of course, is the official bird of the United States, our national bird, adopted in 1782. Usually holding in our seal 13 hours, 13 olive branches to show peace and war. Something tells me that King Washington is all about the war.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so we're moving on. Look at him caress it so lovingly.
He's very happy.
Now, stop here again. Now,
Sure.
This is pretty interesting because when we first watched this, we didn't really know what they were showing here, but it's propaganda, basically. This is alternate history, like Washington standing at the head of the column amongst a bunch of dead redcoats with his soldiers there. Washington wouldn't have been anywhere near that kind of combat. He would have been kept safe. He's the strategic commander of the armed forces. They're not the guy who's on the front line. So they're showing a different portrait of Washington as well. And it kind of goes into here. We see the Betsy Ross flag, etc., and so on, replacing the Don't Tread on Me flag and the Appeal to Heaven flag as we became a nation. But here, if you stop again, another interesting thing you see.
That's him in the background, right?
Yeah, it looks like Washington's, again, with the cannons, sending the soldiers forward towards the British. Again, an elaboration making Washington look a lot better than he probably was. I mean, he was a very important figure, of course, but he wasn't in the heat of battle like this. So again, the propaganda keeps on flowing, as it were.
Cool. Moving along.
Yeah, and if we stop here again, now this is what's pretty interesting. We have some more symbolism here. Obviously, we have the star there in the lower left corner on the sheath. Very popular, and the Lone Star, the popular symbol of the United States, and then GW engraved there. But if you look here, you know, on the what they call a basket-hilted sword here, you see another eagle symbol there. So there's a lot of eagle symbolism early on. If you look right there in the center of the frame, some more stars on his blade. So that's pretty cool.
Cool. Moving along. We got some more
so we're going, yeah,
propaganda.
more here. Now this is really interesting, the clearing of the frontier. Now, again, it looks like Washington here has his back turned to us. Again, amongst all of the action, you see the soldiers holding the torches. Now, this is, again, you know, obviously the revolutionaries had some Indian allies. The British were mostly allied with the Indians, though. And so, again, a little, you know, there's some historical accuracy here in terms of fighting the Indians, but Washington wouldn't have been involved directly.
It's interesting to me that I mean, it's not only the clearing of the frontier, which is sort of the iconic territory that Connor inhabits during the bulk of AC3, but then, you know, it's also like a full-out history book, like just sort of indicating that this thing is written, this thing is done. It's an alternate reality type of deal.
Very cool. Now here, I know you have something to say about this.
Yeah, so it's basically the Apple of Eden. I mean, we've sort of learned a lot about this over the past several games. You know, the reality warping, all-powerful artifact, you know, set down by sort of the ancient beings that used to inhabit the Earth before, you know, humans were around. So clearly, George got a hold of this sucker and is sort of, you know, this is likely the reason he is able to sort of instill his will over all peoples and become king. So.
Yeah, very cool. He's also crushing that. Now, we stop it here, another piece of the propaganda history book here, the occupation of New York, the civilians suffering in the streets of New York. Now, that's not accurate at all. New York was occupied by the British throughout the war because that was really a Tory zone or a loyalist zone, and it wasn't abandoned until after the war was over. So the battles in Brooklyn and Long Island were unsuccessful because, you know, largely because those were British territories. So there was no people hanging from trees, for instance,
Gotcha.
in New York City during the Revolution.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah, if you want to stop it right when we see the eagle, again, just more eagle symbolism on his crown, those fine jewels, of course, Rich.
Yeah, he's blinging it out quite a bit there.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And then we have, now I think this is the most interesting piece of the propaganda book here. If you stop it, again, first of all, a guy's being beaten by a revolutionary soldier here.
Right.
This guy here in the foreground kind of looks a little angry, but also this building's being built in the background.
Is it building a pyramid or
Yeah, it
something?
almost looks like a pyramid. Almost, see, something like that, a huge monolith, as it were, is really a symbol, of course, of totalitarianism and you know, single-person rule. And so that's maybe something Washington would have, you know, elicited, whether this is in Philadelphia or the capital city that would be named after him, of course.
Interesting. I'm just kind of curious what causes George Washington to do this, you know, because he's sort of historically, like, you know, he's famous for denying that power.
Exactly. I think that's what's so interesting there. He's you know, he's looking all smug.
Very smug, yeah, exactly.
Sitting there, you know, like a tyrant, almost like Dracula in Symphony of the Night at the beginning. Yeah, and again, like that is what's so ironic about this is that he is known for relinquishing power. He didn't want power, but he got it here in this DLC alternate history. And of course, the royal soldiers in the background look pretty cool too.
Yeah, they're all knighted up with armor and everything like that. So one quick thing as we move away from George a little bit, you get a couple quick shots of what I presume is Connor, but with a very sort of different outfit, much more nature-based. You've obviously got some sort of bear or wolf along his head there. Obviously, he's still got the bow and arrow. We get a better shot of him here in just like a split second. Here we go. Wolf at his side. Seems to indicate, one, that he didn't join the Assassins, the Brotherhood, potentially at least, and that he's much more based in the frontier and much more tuned in with the wilderness than, say, in the actual core events of AC3. So pretty interesting look for him there. It'll be interesting to see if that's kind of his only look during the DLC or exactly how that's established. It's interesting, though, because we do not get like a concrete release date or anything else for this stuff yet, so sounds like it's a little bit further off, but that is a look at the Tyranny of King Washington, the latest trailer for Assassin's Creed 3. Keep it here on IGN for more.